Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
She shouted, "Stop acting like my father. I can do whatever I want." After disappearing all weekend without a call, I said quietly, "You're right, you can." When she came home 2 days later and realized what I'd taken with me, she just froze at the door. I'm Garrett, 34, and I'd been living with my girlfriend Monica for 3 years. We'd been together for 5 years total, met through work, fell into an easy rhythm that felt comfortable. The apartment we shared was in both our names, though I'd paid about 70% of everything since she was still paying off student loans. I didn't mind. That's what you do when you love someone. The weekend that broke us started on a Friday morning. Monica had been distant for a few weeks, late nights out with friends, phone always face down, vague answers about her day. I'd noticed, but hadn't pushed. Everyone needs space sometimes. But Friday morning, she came out of the bedroom with an overnight bag. "Going somewhere?" I asked from the kitchen where I was making coffee. "Girls' weekend, Sarah's place, should be back Sunday night." "Oh, you didn't mention it." "I'm mentioning it now." Her tone was sharp, defensive in a way that didn't match the conversation. "Okay, have fun. Want me to feed Gatsby?" Gatsby was her cat, technically, though I'd grown to love that orange menace. "He'll be fine until I get back." She left without kissing me goodbye. I stood there with 2 mugs of coffee, one of them pointless now. Friday passed. Saturday morning I texted her, "Hope you're having a good time. Gatsby's mad you're gone. He knocked your succulent off the windowsill." No response. By Saturday evening I called, straight to voicemail. Sunday morning I tried again. Nothing. Sunday afternoon she finally called back. "What's up? Why are you blowing up my phone?" "I texted once and called twice in 2 days. That's not blowing up your phone." I was worried. "I'm fine. I'm with Sarah. I'm allowed to have time with my friends without checking in every 5 minutes. I'm not asking you to check in every 5 minutes." But disappearing completely for 2 days without a single message? That's not normal for us. Normal for us? Or normal for what you think we should be? "Monica, what's going on?" "Nothing's going on. I'm just tired of feeling like I have to report to you every time I leave the house. It's suffocating. I don't make you report to me. I just expect basic communication when you're gone for days." "See? That right there. You always expect something from me." "Yeah, I expect my girlfriend to let me know she's alive when she disappears for a weekend. That's a pretty low bar. I'm not doing this right now. I'll be home when I get home." She hung up. I sat on our couch with Gatsby purring on my lap, and something clicked. This wasn't about the weekend. This was about her creating distance, manufacturing fights so she could justify whatever she was doing. Monday morning, she still wasn't home. I texted, "Are you coming back today?" She responded 3 hours later, "Yes, probably tonight." That's when I started packing, not angrily, not dramatically, methodically. I took my clothes, my books, my laptop, the television I'd bought, the coffee maker that was mine from before we moved in together, my kitchen equipment, my tools, the furniture I'd contributed. I packed systematically, room by room, taking only what was legitimately mine, but making sure I took all of it. I left her stuff untouched. Her clothes, her decorations, her kitchen things, Gatsby's supplies, the furniture she'd brought. I even left the couch we'd bought together because fighting over a couch seemed petty. But I took the TV console it sat on because that was mine. By Monday evening, my half of the apartment was gone. It looked like a college student's first place, sparse, mismatched, full of obvious gaps where things used to be. I left a note on the kitchen counter. "You're right. You can do whatever you want. So can I." Then I drove to my friend Kyle's place with my car packed full and my truck rented for the furniture. He helped me unload everything into his garage without asking too many questions. I stayed in his guest room that night. Tuesday morning around 10, Monica called. I was at work, so I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 10:30, again at 11. By noon, she'd called 8 times. I texted her during my lunch break. I'm at work. What's up? Where's all your stuff? I took it. You took everything? I took my things. Your things are still there. Why would you do this? What the hell, Garrett? You made it clear you don't want to answer to anyone. I'm giving you that freedom. This is insane. You moved out because I wanted space for a weekend? I moved out because you disappeared for 3 days without communication and told me I was acting like your father for expecting basic respect. I never said you were acting like my father. I didn't respond to that. I'd deal with it later. I finished my workday, ignored 6 more calls from Monica, and went back to Kyle's place. Update 1. That evening, Monica showed up at Kyle's house. She'd somehow figured out where I was, probably called my brother or one of my friends until someone told her. Kyle answered the door. She's outside, he said, poking his head into the guest room where I was unpacking my laptop. Wants to talk to you. Tell her I'm not home. Dude, she saw your car in the driveway. I sighed and went outside. Monica was standing on the sidewalk, arms crossed, looking equal parts angry and panicked. Can we talk? Privately? We walked to the end of the block. She started before I could say anything. You can't just move out. We live together. We have a lease. We have a lease with both our names. I'll keep paying my half until we figure it out. Figure it out? What's there to figure out? You move back and we work through this like adults. Adults communicate. Adults don't disappear for 3 days and then attack their partner for being concerned. I didn't disappear. I told you I was at Sarah's. And then you ignored all my messages and calls. And then you called me suffocating for checking if you were okay. I was venting. I was stressed. Sarah and I were having deep conversations about life and relationships, and I needed to not be tethered to my phone for 2 seconds. For 3 days? Yes. Is that so terrible? To want 3 days without having to explain myself? No. What's terrible is coming back and acting like I'm the unreasonable one for being worried. What's terrible is telling me to stop acting like your father when I'm just trying to be your partner. She actually looked confused. I never said you were acting like my father. Yes, you did. Sunday on the phone. You said I was suffocating and acting like I expected you to report to me. That's not the same as calling you my father. Monica, I don't care about the exact words. The sentiment was clear. You think me caring about you is controlling. So I'm removing myself from the situation. You're free now. Do whatever you want. That's not what I wanted. I just needed space. You got it. Permanently. Garrett, please. Can we go back to the apartment and talk about this properly? There's nothing to talk about. You made it clear how you feel. I'm respecting that. By abandoning me? By leaving a situation where I'm made to feel like the bad guy for giving a shit. She started crying. Real tears, not manipulative ones. I messed up. I know I did. I should have communicated better. But you don't just leave someone you love over one bad weekend. It's not one bad weekend. It's 3 days of silence followed by you attacking me for being concerned. It's weeks of you being distant and secretive. It's a pattern, Monica. And I'm too old and too tired to keep wondering when the next blow-up is coming. There's no pattern. You're making this bigger than it is. Then where were you this weekend? She hesitated, just for a second, but I saw it. I told you. Sarah's place. What's Sarah's address? Why does that matter? Because if you were actually at Sarah's, you'd tell me her address without hesitation. Another pause. You don't trust me? Not anymore. No. She wiped her eyes, smearing mascara. There's someone else, isn't there? That's what this is really about. You're using this as an excuse because you want out. There's no one else. I'm not you. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not the one who disappeared for 3 days. I was at Sarah's. Then call her right now. Put her on speaker. Let me hear her confirm it. Monica pulled out her phone, stared at it, put it back in her pocket. I don't have to prove anything to you. No, you don't. And I don't have to stay with someone who won't. I walked back to Kyle's house. She followed me to the driveway, calling my name, but I went inside and closed the door. Update 2. Wednesday, Monica called again. I ignored it. Thursday, she called from Sarah's number. I answered. It's me, Monica said. Sarah's here. She wants to tell you I was with her this weekend. Sarah's voice came on. Hey, Garrett. Yeah, Monica was here Friday through Monday. We had a girls' weekend, watched movies, did face masks, the whole thing. Thanks, Sarah, I said. Was Monica's phone working that whole time? Silence. Because she didn't respond to texts or answer calls for 3 days straight. I'm just wondering if maybe there was a service outage in your area or something. More silence. Then Sarah, quieter. I don't want to get in the middle of this. You're already in the middle. Monica put you there. So was her phone working or not? I'm going to hand the phone back to Monica. That's what I thought. The line went quiet. Then Monica's voice, hard and defensive. Are you satisfied? I was where I said I was. With your phone mysteriously not working for 72 hours? My phone was working fine. I just didn't want to be on it constantly. Right. Because you were with Sarah, doing face masks. Why is this so hard for you to believe? Because Sarah just hung up, rather than confirm your phone was working. Because you hesitated when I asked for her address. Because everything about this smells like bullshit, Monica. I can't do this anymore. You're paranoid and controlling, and I'm done trying to make you happy. Great. Then we're on the same page. She hung up. I blocked both numbers. Friday, I came home from work to find Monica sitting on Kyle's porch. Kyle shrugged apologetically from the doorway. Apparently she'd been there for 2 hours, and he didn't know what to do. We need to talk about the apartment, she said, and Gatsby, and the lease. Talk to my lawyer. I'll text you the contact info. Your lawyer? You hired a lawyer? For the lease buyout. Yes. You're really doing this? You're really throwing away 5 years over one argument? It's not one argument. It's you disappearing, lying about where you were, and then calling me controlling for asking basic questions. I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that. I wasn't lying. I was at Sarah's. And when I asked Sarah to confirm your phone was working, she refused to answer and handed you back the phone. So either she's lying for you, or you're lying about what happened. Either way, I don't trust you anymore. Fine. You want to know the truth? I wasn't at Sarah's the whole time. I went to a concert Saturday night with a guy from work, as friends, that's it. And I didn't tell you because I knew you'd blow it out of proportion exactly like you're doing now. A guy from work. Yes, his name is Trevor. We're friends. We went to a concert, that's all. And you couldn't tell me that because you'd assume the worst. Because you'd interrogate me about it and make me feel guilty for having male friends. Have I ever done that? Have I ever given you shit about having male friends? She didn't answer. You hid it because you knew it was more than friends. And now you're trying to spin it like I'm the insecure one for not being okay with you lying. It wasn't lying. It was just not sharing every detail of my life. No, lying is saying you were at Sarah's when you were actually at a concert with another guy. Lying is ignoring my calls for 3 days because you didn't want to explain where you were. Lying is making me feel crazy for not trusting you when you're actively being untrustworthy. She stood up. I came here to try to fix this, to apologize and move forward, but you clearly don't want that. I don't want to be with someone who thinks basic honesty is optional. You're right about that. Fine. I'll be out of the apartment by the end of the month. You can have it. I don't want it. It's got too many memories of trusting someone who didn't deserve it. She left without another word. Final update. It's been 6 weeks. Monica moved out of our apartment into a place with 2 roommates. I found my own studio across town, something small and affordable where I could start fresh. The lease buyout was messy, but we worked it out through lawyers without having to see each other again. Kyle told me last week that he'd heard through mutual friends that Monica was dating Trevor officially now. Apparently, they'd been talking for about 2 months before that concert. Funny how the timeline works out. I'm not bitter about it. That's the strange part. I thought I'd be angrier, more resentful. Instead, I just feel free. Free from wondering where she is, what she's doing, whether she's being honest. Free from walking on eggshells around someone who saw concern as control. My brother asked me if I regretted moving out so abruptly, if I should have tried harder to work through it. Work through what? I said. Work through her lying? Work through her disappearing with another guy and then gaslighting me for asking about it? When you put it that way, that's the only way to put it. She made a choice. I just stopped pretending I didn't know what that choice was. The thing about trust is that it's built slowly and destroyed instantly. Monica destroyed it in one weekend and spent the next week trying to convince me I was crazy for noticing. I'm too old for that. Too tired. Too done with people who think honesty is something you owe everyone except your partner. She texted me yesterday from a new number I hadn't blocked yet. I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted. I didn't respond, but if I had, I would have said, you're right. I can do whatever I want. And what I want is a life without someone who sees my love as a burden and my trust as something to exploit. The apartment was easier to leave than the relationship. Turns out, when you take everything that's yours and leave behind everything that isn't, the division is pretty clear. I took my self-respect with me too. That was the most important thing I packed.